Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode. And this is episode 7 of the latest drop of Married at First Sight season 19. I am your host, Tane, here to bring you another recap on this. And I hope you're ready for this. I hope you have listened to episode 5 and 6. Episode 5 was with Camille from season 18. Episode 6 was with Nicole and Chris from season 16. It was fun times. I asked them some questions that you've had. They shared some insights, and it was great. So go check those out before you listen to this. And also reminding you that I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/AltaCallMAFS for bonus content. I will have Aid back this week to catch up on all the updates from past MAFS participants. I haven't done those in a while, so I have a big old catch up to let you know what's going on with them and what they've been up to lately. And also a reminder that this is an interactive podcast, so send all of the comments. It's not a bother. I will respond. I love hearing from you guys. So send it anyway. You know where I am on all of the socials, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys. So this season, I told you guys that all of my guests are going to be exciting. Today is no different. I have a fellow veteran watcher of the show. She's interviewed some of the cast from past seasons. She also does recaps and commentary on other shows like Love Island and Welcome to Plathville, which you guys know. I love that show. It's the host of Positively Uncensored Podcast, Leah. Hi, Leah. How are you?
Hi, thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here. I can't wait to talk Married at First Sight, and thank you for the lovely introduction.
You are welcome. The thing is, besides your interviews, like recently, I think you spoke to Olivia from Welcome to Plathville. I like that you always have the right takes, or shall I say, I'm aligned with your takes. So,
The right take. No, like let's just be just kidding. But yeah, thank you so much. I did have Olivia on. I watched all 7 seasons of Welcome to Plathville in
Mhm.
about a month's time, which probably wasn't healthy, but it was beneficial in
Yeah.
terms of I caught everything. It was very fresh in my mind from
Mhm.
episode 1, season 1. I wrote in my notes, like, I'm not going to follow Olivia until the end of season 7 or until
Mhm.
I'm caught up because I want to see how my perspective changed. But I loved her and I saw what was going to happen with the show and ended up
Yeah.
being correct. So I loved that interview. Thank you for plugging that.
You are welcome. Yeah, Olivia is very interesting because I'm not gonna lie. I've been following the show and I was going back and forth, and I was like, well, you can't make someone what they don't want to be. But then, like most reality shows, especially with Plathville, as the season goes, it's becoming darker, and then
Mhm.
we learn more and we see things, and you're like, oh, and then you remember again, it's a reality TV show, so
Mhm.
they tell us what to think. So that's always interesting. So, but anyone that's into pop culture is a yes for me. So you're a yes for me.
I also think it's so interesting to notice as we watch certain shows, there's definitely leads to shows
Yeah.
like the Platts, and then there's background characters. And like
Mhm.
regardless of if we're watching The Bachelor and their lead is like Taylor Frankie Paul or
Mhm.
whomever, there's like a certain layer of like protecting the lead and like dispelling other narratives. So I always
Mhm.
find that interesting to watch as well. And especially it came
Yeah.
frontward with Welcome to Plathville because we're hearing all of this like horrible things online about the
Yeah.
reality of the behind the scenes, but what's being shown to us
Mhm.
is this family that sometimes has arguments.
Mhm.
Actually, no, I think they look pretty awful on camera, if I'm being honest. But
They do. It's just that there's still a dichotomy. There's still two different sides that, and the full story is not being told. So,
that's a
yeah.
great way to explain things. Thank you for
Mhm.
jumping in to help me.
You're welcome. Okay, we are going to dive straight into episode 7, and I'm just going to start with Brittany and Will. And I want to say that this episode was the first episode that I watched where I wasn't holding my breath. I was so excited for them because I'm rooting for them so hard, and it seemed like they've settled into some kind of nice groove. And there's been a flash forward where we're not picking up where we left them last time. So here we just start with them. He's coming back from work and he's like, how are your soaps? And I swear, Leah, I thought she was making soaps. I'm like, wait, she's a tech recruiter. Not what?
What is
What
he talking
soaps?
about?
Before I realized that he meant soap operas. But I'm like,
Mhm.
is she working from home, which was the case? And if she is, why is she telling people she's watching soaps while she's home? And I'm like, don't get her in trouble. Like, don't ask her about the soap. So it took me a while to adjust to that.
It was so relatable as well. He's like walking in the door and someone's like, and there's like a gunshot in the background on her soap
Yes.
opera. It's like, oh my God, which one are you watching? First of all, like let's start there. He also must be familiar with soap operas. Like he must have grown up around his grandmother or his mom who watched them because you don't
Mhm.
call it soaps unless you're
Yeah.
familiar with them. So I thought that was kind of funny.
Yes. So she's making dinner, and I think it's the first time that she's cooking for him. And I always say the MAFS official dinner is salmon and asparagus. I don't think she made asparagus look like kale, but
Mm-hmm.
the fish family was still there. And
Mm-hmm.
he says things like, I'll watch you. I like the view, anyways. And
Yes.
I'm saying that because he's doing what she's been asking for,
Mm-hmm.
being flirty, showing I'm interested. And I'm like, okay, come on, Will. We're
Mm-hmm.
getting there.
Mm-hmm.
So Brittany says they're doing well. And after Pastor Cal left, they both realized that they have things that they can work on and make sure that they incorporate those things. They have a good moment with dinner to me where he says
Mm-hmm.
it was so good, gives her compliments. And I think she's not okay with peace because she's like, are you annoyed by my hair shedding everywhere? I'm like, no, Brittany, no. Everything's going well. Stop.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, yeah, it's everywhere, but it's okay. It's just hair. And she's like, what bothers you? Why are you not shooken by this? What
Mm-hmm.
bothers you? And he says, like, having to reiterate myself every time. She's like, is that your cue for me to shut up? And he says, even if her hair bothered him, what can she do about it? So, what is the point? So, to me, I feel like his nonchalantness is a blessing and a curse, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, the things that we regular people, I say regular people, but people, those of us that are chalant,
Mm-hmm.
would worry about and make a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, I'm not gonna make a big deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have several. Can I? Is okay? I have several thoughts. So first of all, completely agree with what you're saying about the general feeling for them to
Mm-hmm.
be like you're holding your breath, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it very much feels the same way with Rhonda and Pat. Like we're walking on eggshells with them through
Mm-hmm.
this relationship. Um, I also think that I want to acknowledge the fact that I noticed a big effort from Will, like you just stated. He
Mm-hmm.
is doing the things that Brittany asked. I liked to hear him affirm her and offer her a compliment and yeah, just like make her feel good. And I liked the fact too that he wanted to sit there while she's making dinner.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That's all I want my partner to do personally. Call it
Mm-hmm.
clingy, but I like to catch up about the day and not feel like I'm just doing labor. Like it
Yeah.
feels more like I'm making the food with love when
Mm-hmm.
there's conversation and when we're talking. So I like the fact that they had that dynamic. I'll say that about Will being nonchalant, what is so off putting about Will? And this isn't to say that anything is wrong with him. He's
Mm-hmm.
just a different type of person than whom I've been around. And his energy would make me feel constantly unsettled. And the only reason being, he's not doing anything unsettling in a nervous way. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know him. Like for him, it's sort of like if I can't number one, let's point out the fact that his personality that we saw wedding day with his friends where he was
Mm-hmm.
cutting up and being very social
Yeah.
and relaxed and joking and kind of
Mm-hmm.
like the center of the room, granted
Mm-hmm.
it's his wedding day. It's just so different than who we're getting now, and
Yeah.
maybe that's a testament to the fact that he's just so relaxed and comfortable in this relationship and
Mm-hmm.
he's able to just exist, come
Yeah.
after a long day and exist, which is what I hope. But it's almost like hard for me to like buy into his niceness. I believe he's attracted to Brittany. I
Mm-hmm.
believe he likes Brittany, but
Mm-hmm.
he's not passionate about anything. He's
Yeah.
not like there's nothing. I get what she's saying. Like she's like, "What makes you
Yeah.
really happy?" And I
Mm-hmm.
get what he's saying too. Like I'm not going to be like, like when you walk in the door, like I get
Mm-hmm.
he's saying. But for her, it just feels like we're hanging out in this very neutral space. And
Yeah.
nothing I do is pleasing to you, and nothing I do is displeasing to you. And I understand why she's sort of like,
Yeah.
what bothers you? What makes you
Yeah.
happy?
Hmm.
What turns you on? Like, if I get any definitive answer from you on just you answering. So I sort of get why she's just kind of like not able to figure him out and
Yeah.
asking him questions. Like, so my hair in the shower drain, problem, not problem, so
Mhm.
I sort of understood that. What do you think in response to all of that?
I agree. I think I've mentioned that I think it's interesting that we are in episode 7 now, and I don't know much about Will. I can tell you that Megan is in love with Zoe. She loves her dog. I can tell you that just Josh loves Burning Man. Derrek loves EDM. We know things
Mhm.
about people. Rhonda likes a gardener. I don't know that about Will. I call him my little android, but I just want him to like tell us or show us something more. And I'm having better understanding where it's like Brittany, it's like people who don't like silence and they want to fill in the silence. So Brittany is trying to
Mhm.
get something out of him.
Mhm.
And it's like, come on, you're doing all the things. And I'm like, I always say this, he does this on paper, he's doing all the things, but the human aspect is missing, that we don't know you or who you are. And
Mhm.
that's what that awkward silence she's trying to fill is
And
for
we
me.
have seen him be annoyed, but even that was just like a little bit passive aggressive. We can tell he's annoyed, we can tell he's passive aggressive, but it's not very direct. Like, he'll sort of say things like, oh, like, she claims that she's emotionally vulnerable, but she left and she didn't say anything. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And it's not like addressing like the root of the problem. Or he'll
Yeah.
say like, I don't feel like you ask me direct questions, or you don't try to get to know me. When we've seen her ask questions, so it's sort of like, what do you really mean? Like, what do you want from her? And
Yeah.
even when she asked him, like, what do you want from me as a wife? Like, what are your love language? And he's
Yeah.
like, affection's cool, quality time is cool. If you want this, that's cool too. And it's like, well, what is not cool? Like, it's
Yeah.
he's both advocating for himself. Like, I understand who he is, but he's also being very amenable. And when we
Mhm.
see the preview of him later on in the season saying, well, I know it wasn't me who said I love you first, or who has said I love you yet. It just
Mhm.
makes like, that's the part of him that makes me like a little unnerved. Like, it's like he's not very expressive of
Yeah.
himself.
And that's the thing, is at what point does it become, maybe this is just how he is. And that's why I
Mhm.
always say, like, I just think they're
Exactly.
incompatible, because if this is just what he is, we're not trying to change her, we're not trying to change him. Are you going to meet him in the middle and just at some point be like, that's my man, that's just how Will is, and then understand his intent? Because
Mhm.
just like they don't know each other, we don't know them too. And
Absolutely.
we're going with that. So that's the part where I'm just like, I'll take the part that he's missing those components, but he is being nice. We've seen some assholes in
Mhm.
the last few seasons, so the bar is low on the ground, but I'm grateful that at
Yeah,
least he's treating her nice. So,
me
but
too.
at some point, we do have to get to the point of this is just how he is, and it's either, is this better than the assholes you've dated in the past or not? And we'll find out on decision day.
Yes, I have a point to add to that, but I'm gonna wait
Mhm.
till later when we get to the part where all of them are having the conversation. So
Okay.
I'll let you continue, but I'm gonna bring that back up.
Okay. So then Will has to travel for work,
Uh-huh.
and it's not a big deal for him. He said he saw his dad do it, but it's something they have to discuss, which is good. Brittany is sad about it, and
Mhm.
they just have a light moment where she's just like, this is called emotions. And I know she's taking a jab.
Yes.
I don't think he picked it up, but
I thought that was funny
he
though.
was. They go to Will's apartment, and based on the clothing, this is not in order because we saw them go to their apartments before, and she was wearing that set that she was wearing a while back. But I don't know why they thought they had to show this, but either way, they've gone to their place.
Mhm.
And since he's out of town, Brittany FaceTimes Will.
Mhm.
And I just want to point out that Brittany is laying on the bed. The beds have sheets, you know? She
Uh-huh.
said she didn't like sheets, but
Uh-huh.
she's on there. I'm grateful that she did. And I think someone pointed out to me that in episode 3, they were on sheets. So hopefully she's turned the corner on that,
Yes.
because that was strange.
I needed
So,
to know more context on what that meant. Like, exactly what is your setup? Take a picture.
yes, exactly. Their conversation was almost like we shouldn't have been privy to it. It was just like flirty, sexy. Yeah, no.
chemistry. I was like, should we be here? You know what I mean?
No.
Like, yes, it was very like they had a lot of sexual tension just hanging in the air on
Mhm.
that phone call.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, very complimentary, very
Then we get
flirty.
a flashback, right, of them, like, in the kitchen, like, mid-phone. I was like, "Whoa,
Yes.
things are
Yes.
good, I guess."
They have taken 10 steps forward. So Will is giving her everything she wants and it's reciprocated. She's also like, "You're so cute, you look so good." He does thank her for, calling him. And I think this is the part where again, he's doing all the things. It does sound formal, but they just met, so maybe that's just what the vibe is. But
Mhm,
she ended the call and she's like, "Damn, that man is fine." And I'm like,
mhm.
"Okay." And then
Yes.
she tells the producers that when it comes to intimacy, she and Will are good on that front. And
Mhm.
that's when we see the
Oh,
security
yes, I'm
cam.
sorry.
No,
Mhm.
you're fine. Of them dry humping in the kitchen. The kitchen is not safe. Don't eat at Will and Brittany's, okay? Because we don't know what's
We've
happening there.
broken in.
But I mean, good for them because we went
Mhm,
from I don't want someone who rejects me, and now they're good on that front.
mhm.
So Will comes home. There's a nice note on the dry erase board. I don't know if you got to see it on the refrigerator where she was like, "Hi, honey, welcome home. I missed you." And I'm like, it's the little things. That was very nice
Mhm.
for him to come back to. He says it was nice to come home to her. She keeps asking him, "Do you need anything?" Because he's sitting by her and he's like, he's just okay sitting
Uh-huh.
next to her. They're just saying, "I miss you. You miss me." They just want to get to the bedroom. I think they were just like, is it, are we
Leave.
done?
Yes.
So yeah, so it was nice. So I'm very, very grateful to have an episode where Will and Brittany are good. So
Can't agree with you more, completely agree. Also, I have really bad ADHD, and it's hard for me to let people be around me without
mm,
feeling like, "Do you need anything? Is there anything that I can grab for you?" Or, like, they'll put their cup on my table, and it's not that it bothers me at
yeah.
all that the cup is on my table, but for whatever reason, I'll just grab a coaster and put it under them, and then they're like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, so I sort of I wonder if Brittany has any of that. Like, I wonder if she has
Yeah.
ADHD, and I wonder if a piece of her and even in conversations when she carries and fills in the space, like, I wonder if
Yeah.
a piece of her just feels like a need to, like, be do something, whether it's
Yeah.
vocally or do something.
Yeah, I didn't think about the ADHD aspect. I think I was thinking about it was Will's energy because he's just so
Could be that as well. Like, don't
that.
don't catch me armchair diagnosing. I was just relating to her a little bit,
No,
but
I
yes.
mean it could be a possibility. And then the other
Yeah.
thing could be maybe a slight insecurity. Just like, are you okay? Are you good? Do you love me? Do you like me? Do you want me? Do you
And it could
like
be
all
that
that?
for me too.
Yeah.
I think that's so relatable, an element of, like, checking in on people just to
Hmm.
always make sure like, maybe people pleasing. That's a
Yeah.
good point as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Okay, so before I move on to Pat and Rhonda, I will take a quick break and I will be right back, guys. Listen, I know you think this might be too early to talk about, but the holidays sneak up on you fast, and it's not too early to get your shopping done and actually have fun with it. Uncommon Goods makes holiday shopping stress-free and joyful, with thousands of one-of-a-kind gifts you can't find anywhere else. Uncommon Goods has products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the United States, where you can find gifts like ice cream flavored lickable bubbles for kids, trivia games for the trivia lovers in your lives, or for the grillers in your life, an entire periodic table of flavor rubs. As if that isn't incentive enough, every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give back $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. So shop early, have fun, and cross some names off your list today. To get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/altarcall MAFS. That's uncommongoods.com/altarcall MAFS for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary. The human body is fascinating, but did you know that scientists now openly say that your gut is the cornerstone of your health? The gut is the foundation of overall health and vitality. It's not just about digestion. The gut affects everything from your energy levels and mood to weight management and even longevity. Most gut supplements contain probiotics or probiotics and prebiotics at best. Bioma contains all three essential ingredients your gut needs: prebiotics, probiotics, postbiotics. Each ingredient is science backed and third party tested. Just 2 capsules before breakfast takes the guesswork out of feeling your best. Visit gobioma.com gobi.com/AltocallMAFS today for an extra 15% off your order. That's gobioma.com/AltocallMAFS and get an extra 15% off any order from the site. Okay, Pot and Rhonda. As we are seeing so far this season, one minute you see a fight, the next minute everyone's good. I'm just going ahead with this whiplash because, again, I'll take this over 35,000 episodes. So last we saw, Rhonda was saying she had to get away. I am glad that she did not go to her house and spend the night because
Mhm.
that's not a good thing. She did admit that she got defensive, but she did stay the night with him, and she's happy that they can have healthy arguments and they can kiss and make up.
Mhm.
She says they have to work together, but she's learning that they are both fighting for their future together. She does tell him that she's trying to figure out how to feel safe, how to make him feel safe with her, and how she can create that safety net for him. And he recommends Dr. Pia's suggestion where she said, when I said X, you felt Y. And she says, I'm going to mess up, but I need patience. And, I love you. He says it back and they kiss. And I'm like, come on, maturity. Thank you. But I don't know if you've noticed, but every time they have a not a difficult conversation, but a conversation which happens most of the time, where Rhonda is picking on something and she's telling him, she quickly pulls him in for a kiss. And I don't think that's a bad idea. I actually think
Mhm.
maybe that's good practice, but
Mhm.
is it like a band-aid over a wound? I don't know. What do you think about that?
That's an interesting way to say it because it's almost like, giving him the validation that she still loves him while also
Yeah.
pointing out something that
Mhm.
is bothering her. I
Mhm.
like how Rhonda brings things up
Mhm.
to Pat. I don't like how Rhonda responds when things are brought up to
Mm.
her. I think she's
Mm.
great at communicating herself, but I think the moment that something's communicated back to her, that's when I think that her communication goes out the window. But I do
Yeah.
like how she lovingly brings something up, how she addresses it in the moment, how she says, like, okay, like, I'm going to stop you really quick. You did it again there. And
Mhm.
it's just like, oh, okay, thank you for pointing that out. So I think yeah, I think that it's nice that she gives him a kiss.
Mhm.
Um, because Pat is so agreeable and he talked about people pleasing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I am wondering if, like, for example, when Rhonda did give him a kiss and say, I'm so glad that we're able to have healthy arguments, I'd be curious to know if he viewed that argument as
It's
healthy.
healthy.
Right.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like when you're reading a book or you're watching something and she's the narrator of the book. So it's from her lens, is
Mhm.
what we're getting. And a lot of him is just being the co star, I guess, or in the background.
That's perfect. Yes. Yeah, and she
And
wants
it's
it
not
that way.
from
Like,
her.
she's the main
Yeah.
character, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm still very shocked by her reaction for the first time when he actually said his, lovingly, I might add. It wasn't like he was a dick to her, and she reacted very strongly. I
Mhm.
feel better this episode about where they stand and their commitment, but I'm still on the side of the fence where I feel like she's still coming off the high of a wedding and the marriage is just really scary to her because she's been alone for most of her, not her life because she's been married, but honestly even in her marriages she was alone from
Mhm.
what she's described.
Mhm.
And I think it's just a case of she wants her independence, and I don't know if she's able. She keeps saying he was messed up from his marriage, but I kind of feel like she's also messed up from the marriages that she's had, and she's not completely healed or ready to welcome someone in. And I think Pat is the best kind of person she could have been matched with, honestly. I know I had my concerns, but those are kind of fading away, and he has the temperament to put up with her. Let me put it that way. If they had given her a type A person also, that would have been very disastrous. Is that the
Mhm.
word? And the patience and the grace, wouldn't have been there. So they do some gardening in Rhonda's house, and I don't know how I feel about when we're filming, we're in the apartments. Going back to our actual houses, does that take away, or is it because they're older? Like, did you think anything of it, or am I overthinking that?
Here's what I thought it was interesting. That's for sure. I thought it was interesting. I do think it added an element of reality to the relationship
Mm-hmm.
because they're going to her home and seeing it together
Yeah.
and kind of like working around the yard together as they would if they shared a house,
Yeah.
right? So I liked that aspect of him getting to see her in her space. It was kind of funny to see that like she put him to work.
To work.
To work. She said, I have 15 potted plants and 16 that need potted. Let's go. And I thought that was kind of funny. You know what I mean? And he
Yeah.
was trying, she was like, gardening's fun. And meanwhile, he's carrying everything. So I thought that it was like nice to see them in the element.
Mm-hmm.
And I also wonder, coming off of last season, where
Yeah.
so many of the interactions between the couples were centered around that damn apartment, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I always thought that that was intentional. While they can't force people to cheat, they can create an environment in
Environment.
which it's very easy. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that allowing them the freedom to be couples and do what they want to do, I think that that's like a benefit to this season on there
Mm-hmm.
not being any potential overlap
Yeah.
or messiness even.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point because something else I did notice is like there's a lot of boys, you go there, girls, you go there. We are not going to put you guys together. Okay.
Working out together at the gym, you're good, okay? No.
So, okay. Yeah, I guess that's a it wasn't a bad thing because I did like the reality like, hey, this would be our life if this is
Mhm.
what was going to happen. But I think I was thinking about the fact like what if all five couples decided to do that and we're doing a lot of going to each other's homes? Does that change anything about the show? But it's just them so
Yeah.
far. So, it's okay. Okay. She does say that she's been discombobulated about moving in together and wants to explain to him that it's not the living together, but she's still protecting herself. She shares with Pat why she was reluctant when he brought it up, her last marriage. She and her four kids did not move in till a week before, which is for me like five people move into a house with a person a week before you get married. Not like you have to live together, but that is
How
huge
did I
change.
miss that? That's it. That completely went over my head. What?
Yeah, that's a huge change for anyone. So, yeah, she says it was uncomfortable for her, that it just felt like it wasn't their house, it was his house. He got upset when she got things for the house. And I'm like, okay, that sounds like a nightmare. And she
Mhm.
says she doesn't want to be what that guy was to her, to Pat, and
Mhm.
doesn't want to put anyone what she went through. And Pat being Pat is like, oh, we don't need to solve it now.
Mhm.
He says he understands her reluctance and he doesn't have an ideal solution, but
Mhm.
he just wants them to be in the same space.
Mhm.
He's confident they'll figure it out. And I don't know, maybe you can help me out if this is good or this is bad. Because it's towing the line between you just got married, you don't want things too serious, but making sure you figure things out. But this sounds like a big thing. You want it to be the same space. Nicole and Chris were hinting to us. It seems like she would like for them to live like separately.
Mhm.
They need to have that conversation, but kicking the can down the road, is that the best solution now or to go with? Or if they discuss it now, is that volatile to their relationship? I don't know.
Rhonda needed therapy after her relationship ended. She needed to be in therapy before she went on this show. She needed to be on therapy after her last marriage ended to process that. And as far as sort of like jumping the gun and like looking into the future with her and Pat's relationship, regardless of if you don't want to be like that, you kind of are. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like you're kind of being like not very welcoming to
Yeah.
him into your space when discussing the future of where you guys might live in a
Yeah.
month. Not saying that she's not welcoming. Here's what I think about Rhonda. I think that every time we see stuff like this, what her kids said echo in the back of my brain, which is it's her way or the highway.
Mm.
Our mother is difficult, and
That's true.
I think that that's they wondered immediately if he would be able to handle Rhonda. And I think that when they say it's her way or the highway and she can be very stubborn, I think we see that a lot. Like, I think that's like a
Yeah.
part of her personality now. And granted, she was a single mom,
Yeah.
correct? Like,
Hmm.
I get it. I get how she develops these walls and such, but she's not giving Pat a chance to
Yeah.
have a relationship with her without staying in the back of what her ex-husband did. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. I agree. And that's why I say, like, I'm sorry, Pat, for my initial assessment of who you were, but he's great for her. Like, if you
Huh?
ever were going to shed those walls or go through some kind of growth, I think Pat is the best person for her to do that with, because he's so agreeable and he's here and he seems to like really love her. I do think they said I love you early, but I mean, I guess they're older.
You know what
Maybe.
you're bringing up for me that I just remembered really quickly? I'm so sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
Rhonda spent 25 years learning how to be alone. And
Yeah.
as she mentioned with Pat, he ended a relationship that he was in for 3.5 years, 6 months ago. And Pat learned how to be cohabitating and how to be in a couple. And that stark difference between them, Rhonda looks at
Yeah.
that like a disadvantage, or like Pat just wants to fill in the gaps. But I think that
Mm,
Pat learned the pros of companionship and when he can find a good companion. And
yeah.
because Rhonda learned how to be alone, she is just um not as soft
Yeah.
as Pat is, and there's just a
Hmm.
huge difference in how they understand relationships right now. Like, that's what I was just figuring out as you were talking.
Come on, Leah.
Right? I was like, "Listen to this. I should have put this on my TikTok. What? That was great."
No, but that is true because she's seeing it as a negative instead of just leaning into it. Because he
Right.
helped her with everything, did
Mhm,
not complain, and then she said in a last line, he cleaned the kitchen on top of everything. Like, what more could you ask for?
mhm,
A man
mhm.
who was willing to, dance with you and do all
Yes.
the things, because I think one of the brownie points I gave him was at the wedding when she was taking off her shoes and dancing around, and he took off his shoes too, went
Mhm.
along with her, jumped into the pool with you. Like, what else could you ask for?
In his suit, mind you, and he
Yeah.
didn't say anything about the red dress, which, I mean, not that she needs to be in a white dress, but, like, he liked it on her. He embraced her being
Yeah.
so eccentric. I agree.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that she just needs to lean in. Easier said than done, but
Mhm.
we'll see what happens. But I mean, I hope they do, but it's
Me
just
too.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. She's dedicated to being single. That sounds harsh, but she's dedicated to that lifestyle. Let me put it
Mhm,
that way. That
mhm,
lifestyle for them. So,
mhm.
okay, anything else you want to add for them?
No.
All right. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back in a second. Okay, and I'm back. Let's talk about Belinda and Chad. And I want to ask you one question before I go into them. Do you think Belinda is into Chad?
I think Belinda is into Chad for the way that he treats her. I think that it's taking a moment to get there with physical attraction.
Even though they've had sex?
Mm, yes, because somebody can, like, you I think sometimes I don't know. Like, I think sometimes, like, yes, I think she likes him. I think she likes him. I just think that, like, sometimes when he
Yeah.
sauntered in there and danced
Yeah.
in there, it was great, right? But it was
Yeah.
like, at a certain point, I wondered if she got the ick or if she was, like, really into it, because granted, you don't want someone to come home drunk and be raging. Like, I would
Mhm.
much prefer that over any other type of drunk person. Come in and
Yeah.
compliment me. Tell me I'm the most amazing woman in the world.
Yeah.
And he's willing to look a fool, which
Yeah.
I love. Um, but yeah, I wonder if his quirkiness is ever something that puts her off, or if she loves how funny he is. But Jalen getting emotional about them earlier in the episode, I'm like, no, let me not jump ahead. You
You're fine. Well, I mean, then to add to what you said, it could be a thing like even if it puts her off, maybe she feels like the positives are more greater than the negatives anyway. So
absolutely.
she's okay with that. I just want to say that we started with Chad decorating their apartment with a United States flag in an apartment building. And Belinda is like, huh, a whole flag? And he says, we have to have a flag. So there's that.
See,
And
like, that's an ick moment, right? Like,
I
Do
mean,
we have to have a flag?
you don't. When you get your own place, you can put it's an apartment that's on the balcony. It's
It's
just like
huge.
but he also gets her flowers. Hey, he got her flowers and that was nice. And Josh and Jalen came to hang out with them. Belinda's son also comes along because Chad is doing a crab boil. And apparently Chad loves to cook and knows how to cook. And this goes to my point. Even Chad, we know things about Chad. Like we
Mhm,
know that he likes a crab boil.
mhm,
It was cute when Josh shares that, my family grew 3 times. I mean, he did say 3x, but okay,
mhm,
three
mhm,
times this year. And Belinda shares that Chad is such a good cook that she is intimidated to cook for him, but she loves that. It's what she asked for. Once again, the boys and the girls separate. I'm like, nothing's gonna happen, guys. They're family. But Belinda and Jalen go to their separate part, and Josh asked Chad if he said I love you, and Chad is like, I did, but she's holding out. And my other question is, do you think Chad is love bombing Belinda? I've seen some of that online. I've seen some listeners think that. And I just want to say I had to look this up. The definition of love bombing is a manipulative tactic where a person showers a potential partner with excessive affection, attention, and gifts to gain control over them. It can involve lavish compliments, constant contact, and early declarations of love, often creating a sense of being uniquely special to the recipient. Your floor, Leah.
Okay. In terms of love bombing, I don't think he's love bombing her. Only reason being, another component of that is pulling the rug out from underneath somebody and not giving them that anymore. And Chad, to me, as a girl dad and somebody who talks about his past relationships as trying to save people and trying to fix them, I genuinely think that he is a very emotional guy. Like, I believe the fact that he loves Belinda. I believe also that he should have more reservations with his love life. That's why he's been married 3 times. He's lucky to put his faith in Belinda because she seems like she has her stuff figured out, and like there wouldn't be that like issue coming up for him where he's trying to save her, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
she's already got her stuff sorted. Chad, I would be curious, how do we know how many years ago his last marriage ended?
No. Every episode, I want to know how long ago and why they ended. And every episode, we do not get that.
Okay. I would like to know that as well. I think he genuinely does like Belinda. I genuinely think that this is him. I think he's a girl dad. I think he's compassionate. I think he's a goof. I think he's somebody who looks like a douche but isn't. So I think all of that's real. Um, I am changing my mind on Belinda not being physically attracted to him. And I think that because she had one marriage and
Yeah.
hung on to it, into
Mm-hmm.
it for as long as she could, that she was reluctant to say I love you while gauging Chad's sincerity. And
Yeah.
after not seeing any warning signs, I think she felt comfortable enough to say it back. That's
Yeah.
so that's what I think for in terms of them. I have more concerns, and we'll talk about them,
Mm-hmm.
about Josh and Jalen than
Okay.
I do about Belinda and Chad
Chad.
and
Okay.
the love bombing concept.
Okay.
In regards to Josh's comment when he said that his family grew 3 times, I can't be the only person who like heard the soundtrack from The Grinch where they talk about the Grinch's heart growing 3 times. Like it's like the Grinch's heart, like it like came in my mind instantly. And the heart grew 3 times. Like
I did.
I was like, okay, Josh, like a little bit of Grinch, like, but it was cute. It was really cute.
Yeah.
The food looked great, by the
Yeah.
way. I like
Mm-hmm.
the fact that he can cook. I like the fact that he writes notes, like how Brittany wrote Will the note. I like the fact that he wrote her a note. I'm feeling pretty good about them, but I want to know why his marriage ended
Mm-hmm.
and how long ago that was, because I think it's strange that we don't know that.
Yeah. I think you said something interesting, and it's true because I have the same thought where Chad suffers from he looks like he should be a douche. Not looks like the things he said also.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
this was saying the barking orders thing, oh, I
Mhm.
save people and thing just altogether
Mhm.
doesn't give good first impression. But
Mhm.
it's like so far he hasn't done anything. I do
Mhm.
think though that he is grateful to have someone like Belinda. Almost
Mhm.
like, how Edmund felt about KB and Love is Blind? Like, oh, I would never have gotten someone like you without
Yes.
the show. Sometimes it gives, I don't know if that's how he feels. I'm just saying, like, it gives off that, like, oh my
Mhm.
God, I can't believe I have this woman. I'm never letting her go. And she's into me too. Oh my God. And I always say you should never feel grateful when you're with someone. Like, you should feel like, we're on the same, level. So what I want to know is how long this will last. Like, is this just the
Me too.
initial high of a new relationship and then real Chad is going to emerge and then we'll see what happens. But if
Mhm.
this is real Chad, kudos to him. Like, great. And I'm more I'm on Belinda's side. I'm more concerned for Belinda because it seems like one marriage, one relationship,
Mhm.
started very young, had her first kid at 19, and she
Mhm.
just wants to live her best life. So I want her to have a worthy partner. But
Yep.
it's just, you look at Chad and you're like, what are you going to do? Are you going to treat her right? But so far, so good,
Right.
to your
So
point.
far, so good. Agreed.
Yeah. Okay, so Belinda shares with Jalen, and she says that she didn't say it because she wants it to be organic. She's getting there, and the love is brewing. Jalen shares that Josh said it, and now, they're getting off the high. She's thinking about the post-nup conversation, and she's thinking maybe we just do it to get out the way. I thought she already agreed to do it. Are they just trying to make it a conflict for them because she had no issue with it? So I'm not sure what this is about.
I think Belinda was concerned for her daughter that if her daughter changes her mind at any
Hmm.
point, that there's no space for that. And I think that she was concerned about the now and how she feels like we're all of us are like one accident or one health scare away from being disabled. Do you know what I mean? Like it's
Hmm.
not like so many changes could pop up. So it's like do how are you protected if if you have a child and all of a
Hmm.
sudden you decide you don't want to work, like
Hmm.
maybe before you thought you were a career woman, but once you have a child and that separation sets in, maybe you have so much anxiety at the thought of going back to work, you're in that space for a while, and can he be okay with that? And then if he left you, what would you have? Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I understand her mom's hesitation.
Concern. Hmm.
I was can we jump to their conversation with Dr. Pia? Because that's where I got really confused about the post-nup. I'm
Okay.
super confused there.
Okay, we will get there when we're
Okay.
still in. Yeah, we'll get there. But I do have a comment on the hammam and the post nup and all of that. I'm with you. She shouldn't be so sure that she's not going to want to be a stay at home mom because
Mhm.
this is life. The want constant is change. Going back to the Dallas season, I don't know if that's the season you've seen, but if anyone's watched the Dallas season, Danielle on that season was like, I would never be a stay at home mom. Like, why would I be? She was almost insulted. She's a stay-at-home mom now. She gives
Uh-huh.
us the codes all the time. Shop with her code, so you never know what's
Sparkle
gonna
Megan
happen.
on Love is Blind was like, "I'm not slowing down for Jordan's child." And then
Yeah,
she showed up at the reunion with the 8-month-old or 6-month-old. So, yeah,
yeah. So you never know. And then the other frustration for me is a prenup, a postnup is not this big bad thing people think that it is, and it
agreed.
also doesn't mean you're getting nothing. I think
Agreed.
that was where there was a lot of projection from her mom, to her, but it's like
Definitely.
make some amendments. Like if I do that and that happens, I'm going to be taken care of for the years that I'm losing from working and things like that. So that's why I was like, is this just they don't have any conflict for them? Let's just create a conflict and talk about it because post-nup is amendable. It just doesn't mean walk away and get zero.
Yeah, and I think that's what her mom was encouraging too. Like Jalen was like, "Oh, I'll sign it. Like
Mhm.
I don't want your income." And I think her mom was like sort of like being that person to be like, you know, I wouldn't just say I'll sign it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I think that you should advocate for yourself a little bit and
Mhm.
ask about terms. I'm curious what the post snup said. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I'm curious what the
Yeah, what the
like
actual thing
grounds
is.
were, but you're absolutely right. It's to protect both individuals.
Yeah.
And he could amend it so that it says, you know what I mean? I don't, I
Mhm.
get this if there was a breakup, or
Mhm.
this is reserved for children if we have them, or
Yeah.
XYZ. So she could absolutely. amend the contract. And I wonder if part of that too is like, it seems like Josh has more familiarity with like the legal. It almost kind of reminded me, because I'm watching Real Housewives of Potomac right now, of when Ashley Darby's family is questioning the fact that her and
Mm-hmm.
Michael are getting divorced and they're about to get an LLC to buy a house together.
Yeah.
And they're like, maybe, just maybe, another lawyer that you have should like look over these terms
Yeah.
from Michael before you do it, because he's a businessman and he
Yeah.
knows. So I sort of felt like that about Josh, but I could be projecting.
I think his business partner knows more. Josh doesn't know. Josh just does what his business partner tells him to do.
Does Josh even have a business partner? We'll go back to that once we get to the future
That's true.
conversation.
That's true. Belinda says she doesn't even want to speak them divorcing into existence because she wants them to stay married. But Jalen says, yeah, but it is realistic what you're saying. I'm
Right.
bringing this up because when we met Jalen said, I'm a lover girl, I'm romantic. My
Mhm.
idea of romance is based on rom-coms and reality TV. So to see that she's still rooted in reality, that was cool. So I
Yes,
like that. So
same.
good to see.
Mhm.
Jalen comes by to see Belinda, sees a note that Chad left her, and she texted him to say, promise me you will always do this. So she seems pretty positive, about this. Jalen tears up and says that's been so nice to see this for her. And this is a reminder why it's important to be with a partner that is loving, and do not stay for the kids, because the kids will see this and this is what happens. I mean, every situation is different, guys. I'm not saying it applies to
Absolutely.
all, but. Chad comes in. This is after it, but I'm just gonna wrap their segment up with this. They have a party which we're gonna talk about, and Chad comes in dancing in the hallway. I think he's inebriated, so either way, he's dancing.
Mhm.
Keeps telling her, "You're so pretty, you're so beautiful, you're so amazing," 100 times, and then you make me happy. And he says, "I love you," and she actually says it back and says, "Let's go to bed." Wink, wink. So good for
The
them.
whole scene was funny to me. I'm just like,
It
wow,
was.
it's
It
a
was.
lot.
It was more funny that I did. So I have a terminal when I see people and I'm like, oh, I was cheesing. I was not cheesing, but I'm like, if you like it, I love it.
That's how I felt.
That's the
That's
best
how
I
I
could
felt.
do.
I was like, he's having a great time. So if she likes it, then I love it, whatever.
Josh and Jalen are doing yet another activity that seems to be initiated by Josh. I need to get over it because every time Josh initiates something, Jalen ends up having fun. So far, it's all good. And they went skating. That's what they did. And as a
Mhm.
sidebar, I went skating once, sprained my wrist. I have never done it again. So I'm
Uh-huh.
envious when I see
Mhm.
people skating.
Yes, I wanna skate, yes.
I completely forgot that Josh had dogs, probably because it was not a big issue for them. We didn't see anything
Uh-huh.
about it. So they have their visit from the expert, and it's Dr. Pia. And she comes by, and like I said, it looks like they focus on the post-nup being their conflict. Dr. Pia here is like, oh, I hear you guys are so agreeable, and I'm here to shake things up because it is unrealistic. So I'm going to play a game with you. And she asked them a bunch of questions to see if they agree or disagree. Do you have a positive view of family? They both do. And as an aside, it looks like they have chosen not to dive deep into all of Josh's family history because they laid it on us
Mhm.
in the beginning. And I don't know how that conversation went with him and Jalen about that.
Right.
So I don't know. Would you share all your passwords with your spouse? They both agree. I don't know why that surprised me, but good for them. They're
Yeah.
willing to share that.
I was surprised that that was a question asked, you know what I mean? I'm like, don't you think, like, doesn't she talk about if you feel the need to, like, check all of your partner's stuff, like, isn't that, like, a bad sign? But I don't know. Yes,
Yeah.
I would wanna be able to have if I ask you for your password and you say
Password.
no, what the
Why?
problem? Yeah.
And then purposefully, she says communicating with exes on social media. I'm like, this is what we were really leading up to because this is probably going to come up again.
Uh-huh.
Jalen is like, yeah, I'm not following any of my exes. And he's like, well, I follow my ex. She follows me, but I understand. I'll cease all communication. Dr. P is like, just because you saw her body language, he's like, no, it's not necessary. I'll do it. They say that, but in a preview, I think we're going to see something again
Mhm.
regarding this. So everyone put this in your memory bank. Are you comfortable talking about money? The post-nup comes up again. She's like, I don't need him to give me half of his money. I don't want it. And he's so enamored by that. He's like, you know what? I don't need to move forward with this post-nup because she's been so open. And I'm so glad that Dr. Pia says, how about your business partner? That was the reason you mentioned we had to do this. And he's like, no, I'll cheer him. If he has no problem, I'm fine. I'm like, huh? You know
Mhm.
what? God bless to you guys. That's risky as far as I'm concerned.
Mhm. Bless his heart is what I thought as I'm listening. I'm like, first of all, it's definitely coming back up because the language alone, okay, I'll seize contact. Okay, so you'll seize contact. That means that you've been in contact with her.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're saying, oh, okay, I'm going to stop from this point forward, I already know you've been talking to her. So that
Mm-hmm.
would be a conversation. And I would have it right then and there in front of Dr. Pia because I know it would set me off. So I would be
Mm-hmm.
like, and what was that? The seize.
Sees.
Yeah, I would hone in on that word and I would have that conversation. Um, as far as the business partner, this is what I need to know, right? Did he lie about the business partner having the wife sign a post-nup? Did
Mm-hmm.
he not have his wife sign it because they knew each other for 17 years and were high school sweethearts and she plays a part in the business? What's the
Mm-hmm.
story?
Mm-hmm.
Or did you just go off on on your own and say like I'm going solo? Josh makes decisions. I'm on Married at First Sight right now. Tell your business partner I'm not signing. Is your business partner 18 years old? And when you told them, I feel fine actually. They were like, "You know what? That's enough for me. Let's risk it." I is there a business partner? Like
Yes,
I just
there.
have so many questions and confusion because I
Mm-hmm.
cannot believe that him feeling assured after 30 days less of knowing her in this
Mm-hmm.
marriage and just saying she doesn't want my money would be enough for a business partner. I'm at a loss.
Yeah. Even from the very beginning, when he says, oh, this is something my business partner wanted me to do, he didn't have to say that. Is it something you agree with? Is it something you want to do? Say it's something I think protects us both to do. Don't put it
Absolutely.
on your phantom business part. This he better show up at the reunion. I want to see him.
It's like Dave and the sister on Love is Blind for if you watch that season, anybody listening.
Yeah.
Bring him. Bring the business partner then.
All right. Let's. Did you have anything else before I wrap things up with Derek and Megan?
Um,
You had a Dr. Pia. Was that it?
no, that was it on
That was it.
you mean
Okay.
Josh and Jalen, right? That was it for them.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
yes, that's it.
Yes. All right. Let's wrap things up with Derek and Megan because they were a major part of the episode. They're
Yes.
coming back from walking Zoe because they had a fight previously, but again,
Mhm.
all good. He says they're good. There are things he had to learn. It's all part of things you do when you're in a relationship. They go over to Megan's house, which looks nice. And I'll say this I tell you guys, I'm from Texas. The houses are the only thing that I always think about when I think about should I move back to Texas? The houses we've seen so far have been so nice.
So nice. So nice.
He meets up with his friend Scott, and I am reminded, Leah, that we did not have housewarming scenes, which I hate. I hate the friends and family coming over, and they have a theme in the apartments, and they welcome them. We also didn't have the morning after the wedding brunch fam. Oh, I'm so grateful for this.
Okay, the hot take, I loved the families coming over to the apartments because I felt like it was revealing, but spare me the brunch. Agree there. But I did
Ah,
give me about 10 minutes of each family and friends coming over because I want to see their first interaction and how everybody got along. But
that's
I get
fair.
people being like, what the fuck? I'm good on that. I get it. I get both ways.
That's fair. It's just I don't the apartments just look so small and they're in one corner
100%.
and then they make them ask these questions that you know are not like natural. But again, looking back, it did give us that scene with Ikechi and MM where they were sitting yeah.
And that scene let me know, nope. He's a big NOPE. Nope. Nope on
That's
that.
true.
Mhm.
It's just yeah. But anyways, he meets with
Mhm.
friends. It looks like they're in a brewery because he's drinking his beer. He's
Yes.
waxing poetic about, oh, we're so good. Everything's
Mhm.
good. Our intimacy is so good. No problem there. And
Mhm.
then kids come up because that is their conflict. And he's like, I don't know for sure how she's feeling about having kids. You know, she talked about one kid. I want three kids. We're both 38. So there's a limited window, but she froze her eggs. I'm like, dude, you just had a conversation. Unless my memory is serving me wrong, they did have a conversation about kids. So
Mhm.
I'm not sure what he's unsure of,
Mhm.
or I'm not sure if we're watching it out of order. We always have to remember these things,
Okay.
reality TV, but I'm not sure that conversation on the hammock or something like that. I don't know.
Mhm.
Then he mentions how defensive she gets. And Scott is like, it's important for you to have a common goal. Derrek says he gets it. He wants Meghann to want kids and not do it because it's what he wants. When he said this, I'm like, does Meghann look like she'll do something that she doesn't want to do?
Mhm.
I don't think so. Especially
Mhm.
having kids, I don't think so.
Mhm.
So Scott asked if she would stay. Would it be a challenge? And he says like they have to talk about it, and having a big family isn't something he's willing to compromise on. So then we see him and Meghann go to her workplace. She's in commercial real estate. Her office is so cool. There's a lot of games and things
Mhm.
and motorcycles and
I
things in
didn't
there.
expect it to look like that. I thought it'd be very modern, white, and, like, flowers. It was
Yeah.
very is it called rugged? Like, it was very, like,
Rustic?
rugged.
No, it wasn't rustic. It
Rustic.
was rugged.
No,
Is
that
it
is what I
rustic? Okay,
wanted.
rustic. Okay.
It was very rustic, but I loved it. It was so cool.
It really was. And then he makes her like, there were some games there she's never played, and he makes her, play the games. And Meghann still says, she said this on the honeymoon and says it's important to keep the marriage light and airy. She hates fighting with him, but through the fights, they're getting to know each other better, and she wants to spend her life with him. I think I'm thinking, all right, we got to move a little bit past the light and airy now
Mhm.
because
Yes.
time's a ticking. Once again, Derrek is like, we have something we need to talk about because every interaction, Derrek has something to bring up. He says he's inquiring about family planning things because Scott brought it up. Leah, what does he even mean by family planning? That was vague for me.
Yes. I was assuming that he meant that him and Scott discussed whether or not Meghann wanted to have kids. That's what I
Okay.
think that he meant by family planning. Planning whether or not they would have kids, how many kids they would have. That's what I thought.
Should have said planning a family. It's just a
Mhm.
whole different thing than family planning.
Yep.
So,
Yes. Yes.
okay. So Meghann is annoyed because it seems like he's bringing it up only because of Scott. And okay. Then he says, I'll just go through this and then I'll go. He says, do you want kids? She goes, yes. That's why I froze my eggs. And then
Yep.
he's like, well, are you excited about it? And she's like, okay, this is annoying because we've talked about this. I am excited, but the idea of giving birth freaks me out. That tracks because that's what we saw. In a
Mhm.
confessional, she says, I am annoyed because we have a lot of sex. Most of it is unprotected. And
Yep.
I'm like, huh? But
Yeah.
we'll get back to that.
Mhm.
And she's like, this week, Meghann did not say the word I'm ambushed because she says that every week, but she says, I feel blindsided.
Mhm.
She is focused on the fact that he brought it up with his friend and not her. Do I see why she's annoyed? Yes. Do I think she should be annoyed at this level? No. But let me round
Mhm.
this up. He says, I
Mhm.
didn't bring it up to you first because you get like this. You have scared me, I quote, into thinking of ways to bring things up because you
Mhm.
get defensive. And she says, that's bullshit. And he was like, it doesn't have to be an attack. And she goes, this is a soap on itself. It's like Brittany's soaps. She says, it's not a game to me. And she walks off and takes off the mic. And I'm like, yeah, Meghann is here to remind us of old Married at First Sight. We were getting too comfortable seeing all these people with being level headed and mature. Meghann is like, fuck that.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that was it for them. And I think I just want to see where you land on this and then I'll share what I'm thinking. What do you think about
Okay.
this fight?
This is our last couple, right? Like
Yes.
this okay, I thought so, just because I had quite a bit of thoughts. I'm gonna admit to all of the listeners now, I am going to project on this, and the reason being, since I have been a child, I suffer from passing out talking about birth. I pass out when I go to the gynecologist, I can't wear tampons, I pass out, okay?
Okay.
So, would I love to be a mother? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is it something that would be like, almost impossible for me to get through the journey?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Because of that, it's always I'm gonna project on the sense that the older I get when I was younger, I thought I would be married at 23 and I wanted 3 kids, and I
Mm-hmm.
really wanted twins. now I'm thinking about having 2 births and I'm like, wow, that
Mhm.
would be horrible. But that was what I wanted. As I get older and we learn more about it, I can only speak for the relationship I'm in for the last 8 years,
Yeah.
and my partner leaves the decision of whether or not we have kids up to me and my
Okay.
comfortability. And of course, we both want to have kids, but if it's not something feasible, he's not going to leave me. There's other options, right?
Mhm.
Like we can adopt, there's other options. We could have a lot of dogs.
Mhm.
To hear men be so, I understand everybody has visions and a dream for their life, but for men to feel so entitled to women's bodies really bothers me, especially when they downplay the experience of giving birth and all of the trauma it can cause
Mhm.
to your body after that. So to
Mhm.
hear Derrek sit there with his friend, first of all, I thought that conversation was wildly inappropriate. And I'll say that unfortunately for viewers, if I was on Married at First Sight, the rage that Derrek would have got from me would have been
Mhm.
way worse than Meghann. Because I would have been like, who do you think you are
Mhm.
talking about my comfortability with giving birth with your friend? That would be like me talking about your comfortability to have your ass eaten with my friend. Is that necessary? No. Okay. So it was inappropriate. I
Mhm.
think that where Meghann loses me is how long she gets upset about something. Her initial
Mhm.
reaction to me, real, but then you simmer down and you talk about the real issue of how things
Mhm.
are making you feel. Later on in the apartment, she should have been simmered down by then. But
Yeah.
her initial reaction, it would have enraged me. Mind you, I want to advocate for Derrek for a second. I understand why Meghan's reactiveness has made him try to learn creative ways to approach a conversation.
Yeah.
He's bringing it up by way of Scott so that he doesn't look like the bad guy. However, his failure to realize that making his friend have a opinion on
Fall guy.
when they conceive is gross, and he should feel more confident to address the situation and deal with Meghan's volatility by either saying, this is just not happening, your tone, the way you talk to me, we'll reconvene in 15, or we'll be over. Like, this is just not healthy between the two of us. And his inability to like stand up for himself, he's very passive aggressive. So
Yeah.
I get why Meghann gets on 10, because Derrek, even in their therapy session they had in a prior episode, he's passive aggressive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if the real root of things is that you want Meghann to be gung ho about giving birth, she froze her eggs. Do you know how much intention that shows to that
Yeah.
process to begin with? And then, like she said, it's not as if she's taking precautions to
Yeah.
prevent a pregnancy. So she's not giving him signs that she doesn't want to be a mother. So him magnifying this
Yeah.
the way that he is, to me, felt inappropriate. Your
Yeah.
thought?
Yeah. You have given me a whole different point of view. I was annoyed by one, like the passive aggressive and using what was the name, Scott, as a
Scott.
decoy guy. Like it's
Yes.
the same thing as Josh saying my business partner said you should say. What do you, if it's so important to you, have that conversation? And to me, they have had the conversation. Even saying like, oh, she froze her egg, she did that. I don't know. It seems like she's a private person.
Yes.
Why is he privy to all that? You've had the conversation. Like, what if you're, I'm not saying you don't have a conversation with your friend. You can have a
Right.
conversation. Just say, like, hey, on my end, it seems like she's open to having children. The only thing is, like, she wants one kid, I want three, but we'll talk about it. We'll see if we can meet in the middle, but not
Right.
the way he phrased it, where it was like, I don't know, she needs to be committed. She needs to, and then when the way he asked her, do you want kids? I'm like, okay, and then say, well, how excited? You are not going to gauge how excited am I to. Now it felt like an interrogation,
It
not
did.
a conversation. And then it feels like you're coming with different intent. So that's where I was like really mad. And I was like,
Same.
should she be mad? Yes. And then it was like to the level, sit with it because you're in the right, but your reaction suddenly makes it seem like you're the bad guy. So when she throws
Absolutely.
up the mic, walks away, and it's like, you're just, then it's like, you've
Yes.
lost the point, but you had a
Mhm.
point. You did have a
Uh-huh.
point. So I didn't like the way he was just like questioning her and saying, how excited are you? You need to be on my, how do we measure that? You don't know what it's like to give
What if
birth.
she's
You don't
not?
know. Yes.
What if
So
she's not or what if she's this was my other thing. What if she's infertile? Like the message that he's sending is if he's married to someone 15 years, they want to have kids. It's always been a dream of theirs, but his wife is infertile. Then what? Like he's literally saying like your value to me as a person is as good as your ability to conceive. And
yeah,
I didn't like that's how I felt. I know there will be tons of people who disagree with that, but like that's how I felt because if you really love someone,
yeah.
you can find other ways. You can find other ways.
But that's where the complication of being married at first sight comes in. A friend,
Absolutely. Should you overlook that for someone you just met? Probably not.
that's and then there's something my friend said a while back. She doesn't watch the show completely, but she's just like from what she observes, people do not view this as a real marriage. I think I've been operating as it is,
Absolutely.
but it's because they don't that that's how they treat the whole thing. So for him it's like if she doesn't want to, let's just separate, right now. And that's where that complication of that, comes in.
Yes.
So
Yes. That's I wanted to I said earlier I wanted to bring that back around. That's what I wanted to know. In a normal and that's why Married at First Sight is so hard to watch, right?
yeah.
Because
Hmm.
all of us as viewers, we have never had this experience. So
Yeah.
when I'm talking about love and how this would feel to me, I'm imagining my partner coming in and saying that to me of 7 years and
Yeah.
treating me that way,
Yeah.
right? But when you're starting out, I think a really good question is when all of them were sitting there and having their girls' night. First of all, Megan's in the wrong for not sharing. I understand she wants to keep things close to the vest. She doesn't want to make Derrek out to be an asshole or overshare on the relationship, but they're there to support each other as a resource. And she
Hmm.
could have used that space to like get some support from the girls. But as they're all sitting there and like, oh, I know I would have been done. In the real world, I
Yeah.
would have walked away from this.
Yeah.
My question to you is that healthy? Does it make sense? Like, is there a real shot at success or should they be doing that really? Like, should they be overlooking something to commit to the experience if they know in real life, if they went on multiple dates with this person, their lifestyles would either differ so much or there'd be so little common ground that they wouldn't want to be with them?
They should, because there's, oh God, this is complicated. There's an end date, right? So
Mhm.
I think added to the data points.
There
Don't
you
like
go.
break
That's
it
good.
off
I like
completely,
that.
then put it all together
I
and
like that.
say, is this a deal breaker or is this not?
I
Because
like
you have
that.
an out, at the end of the day. It's not like, you're stuck in it and you have to be in there forever. So it's complicated.
I like that.
It was just Derrek just saying, like, how excited are you? That set me off. Like, that was the part that was just like,
Perhaps
what?
not excited at all, but maybe it will happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Me
Yeah.
too. That set me off.
So the boys and the girls have a meetup. Derrek has like a guys get together at his place, and they're all talking about everything. And Derrek is sharing all of it. He says it's a lot of transition, very fast, and they've been single for so long, and they're both stubborn. The girls all talk about it. Rhonda says her boss told her. I think I was surprised Rhonda said a boss. I think I thought she was retired or something. But her boss said when you go through change, it requires you to change. And that's
Mhm.
where they were all like, oh, we wouldn't have done this, wouldn't have said this. uh Meghann looks just very tense, not saying anything. I'm fine. I don't necessarily think she's completely wrong in not sharing. I think they should all share, but I think like
Mhm.
sometimes, especially since she's so heated, you could get advice or hear something because they don't have the full thing. You give your side and then everyone's just supporting you blindly and they're not giving you the proper advice per se. So that's the only other thing. And also I don't know how she would have said it. She just seemed really, really pissed. But she comes
Mhm.
back to Derrek. They have a fight. I do want to note that when they have the fight and she said he fucking hurt her and she's not done with it. She runs into the bedroom, but the mic is still on and they're still fighting. But as
Mhm.
they're talking, the cameraman begins to show us alcohol, like the empty beer cup, the wine. Are they implying that Derrek is a little buzzed? I
Yes.
don't. Yeah, okay. So this conversation should not be happening at
Mhm.
all. She's like, I feel like you are gaslighting me that I don't want children. And he's like, I need more. I can't have a civil conversation with you and things keep blowing up. And she's like, she feels like he doesn't care. and he needs to get off his high horse. So there's something more that she's pissed off about. Like, he feels like he's Mr. Goody Two Shoes and she's like the villain, and she doesn't appreciate, all of that. He says, tell me what I did wrong. She says, fuck this shit. I'm done. Fuck off. And that's the end of the episode.
She walks off. That's a martyr.
Yes.
I was like, oh, okay. All the way left.
Yeah. So that's it for them. I'm sure by next episode they'll be great and fine because that's what happens. But who would you give your bouquet and your ashes to this episode?
Okay. I'm going to give my ashes to Scott, Derrek's friend.
Ooh.
Fuck you, Scott. I don't like you. The ashes is the bad one, right?
Yes, the ashes is the bad one.
Scott, fuck you. I don't know who you are coming into the conversation and being like, well, what I'm most curious about is, have you guys talked about family planning? You're weird. You
the
get
producers made him do it.
Yeah, like, I'm sure. But okay, Scott, you're the face that I see.
Yeah, so, you're the mascot.
Scott, you're the mascot. That's what Scott is short for, actually, mascot. So you're getting the ashes. You're on my shit list. The bouquet, I think I would like to give that to Pat, with the sub nominee being Zoe, because Zoe, the dog's ability to make a situation funny, like Derek not wanting to walk her, and she prances over. I love dogs. She prances over by his side, and not only does she want to be near him, but she wants him to hold the leash. I think it's hilarious. So, like, I really wanted to give it to Zoe, but a human nomination will be Pat.
Okay, that sounds good. I gave my bouquet to Will and Brittany because I could breathe. They made me smile. They were doing all of the things. And my ashes actually went to Meghann because I'm just like, at some point, we have to be able to regulate and have a conversation. And you have a point and you can make that point without everything and all of that happening. So.
Listen, yours are way better than mine. I think that some of your listeners are going to be like, never invite her back again.
No.
You started this episode with the fact that you agree with all of her takes, and everything she said was like awful. No, but I love Meghann does deserve the heat. She truly does, because she can't control her emotional reactions. And that's what I meant. Her initial reaction, yeah, like, you're kind of heated, simmer down a little bit. You're also in your office space. I don't know. Don't you have neighbors? That's a little embarrassing. But the later reaction in the apartment, both of them were in their cups. It was on 10, ripping the mic off. I love it for the soap opera value. Brittany would watch the two of them argue on TV, and probably will. But yeah, she deserves some smoke, Meghann.
That's funny. I forgot I said that. I still align with most of it. We can agree on it. Dr. Pia says we can agree on everything, So thank you so much for being on here. Before I go, can you share with people where they can find you?
Everybody, you can find me on my own podcast, Positively Uncensored, for reality TV and interviews. I'm on YouTube if you are a visual person and like to watch. I'm on Spotify and Apple Podcasts if you're an audio gal, they, them, person, individual. Or if you would like to watch my short form content, I'm on TikTok. Sorry, I blanked, but that's it.
Do you want to, where can you find me on TikTok?
Positively Uncensored on all platforms.
There you go. You know where to find me, guys. Also called MAFS. Please give me a 5-star rating and stay subscribed so you don't miss out on any of the episodes. Until next time, guys. Bye.